William Shakespeare said true hope is swift and flies with swallows' wings. Kings it makes gods, and meaner creatures kings. Well, hope is a funny thing. It shines brightest in the darkest moments of our lives. It can be brought on by loss, by pain, by memories. But wherever and whenever it appears, hope looks forwards, not backwards. It looks up, not down. Hope promises a future better than the present. That is what hope does best. Hope breeds hope. Oh, hello. Hello. This is Dirty 20 Gaming. My name is Kevin. These amazing people have come and played the game with me tonight, and that makes me happy. He waved, so he's first. Bison underscore Stonefist. You guys know the rules. Try
nuts.
anything visual, any noise, anything. You're next.
It's like a T-Rex. I'm Bison underscore Stonefist. I am a regular on this channel. I'm actually here more often than Kevin. On Tuesdays, I run our Cyberpunk Red game, Carnage Heights. On Thursdays, I play Encino, the Dragonborn Paladin, on our D&D 5e Fool's Gold campaign, King's Pyrite, which is extremely unhinged and lots of fun. You should check it out. And then tonight, I'm finally playing Sid again.
All right.
It's been a while.
You adjusted your glasses. Before they were talking, so you're next. Wayward Knight.
Hey, I'm Chris, aka Wayward Knight, and I do a lot of things. I play Felicity here on Dead to Rights. I also run our Monday night game, Grave New World, which is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer TTRPG. It is currently on hiatus because of life reasons, but it will be coming back soon. Hopefully February. Anyway, I also host a podcast called Professional Questers. You can find it and all of my other links to like my art and stuff right here on the interwebs. And that's me.
That's you. And you sat there perfectly still, but just to prove that I can see things that don't move. Karis.
Hi, I'm Karis. I play Minecraft. Sometimes I'm healthy enough to show up here.
You also, by the way, bring in amazing people into our community on a regular basis.
I try.
That's amazing, and thank you. We've had several new people join the community this week, and it's been really refreshing. And it reminded me why we're doing this in the first place. We got to do a very first game with somebody the other night, which is always special, and that one was really fun. So join us most nights of the week now that the new year is over. At least 3 or 4 we usually get in. I think we scheduled technically for 5. But anyway, tonight. Whoa. Sorry, Phil Collins. I won't send you 12 cents for that. It's been ages since we played, so I don't usually do these, but I'll do a little bit of a summary this time. You guys left one of the few functional places that you found.
And we left
relatively speaking.
Too.
You got there and it was just like subsistence level functional. With your help, it is now a prospering sort of valley that is a center of growth. It's the real deal. They're going to live by the looks of this. They're going to survive. They might even prosper. You guys left that. We're reminded of Artemis's stalker a little bit. Somebody has taken Artemis's "You are free" message to heart and is somehow ahead of you on this road, on this trip of yours, leaving graffiti apparently for you to find. So that's a little weird. Speaking of a little weird, you all also had a dream, all the same dream, and part of it is now sort of in front of you in the quote unquote real world. You dreamed of a primeval forest with mastodons and saber-toothed cats and humans running around in loincloths with spears and thought it couldn't possibly be real. But then you got to this actual valley and you saw nothing more advanced than campfires dotting this valley. And then a screeching, howling roar came down that valley. And every one of those campfires went out. Clearly in fear. Stefano processed in a heartbeat, realized this was a machine with at least 3 different noises combined to make this yowling, howling thing. It must be that because I believe it's a quote, dragons aren't real. So the 4 of you, Artemis is still in the back seat suffering, and anytime somebody mentions danger, just one arm comes up with a rifle in it, and then when they're sure it's safe, the arm goes back down, but that's about it.
Like a Tusken Raider.
With glitter still, but
Artemis still hasn't gotten all the glitter off.
She is the patron saint of glitter.
Yes,
Didn't
they'll
you
be
know
able
that?
to follow your archaeological trail by following the glitter.
Yeah, it may not be willing, but she's stuck with it now.
Yeah, it will be.
I mean,
known
we're
as
in
the
Italy.
When you guys are famous, this will be known as the pilgrimage of the glitter. The
Follow
glitter.
the sparkle brick. The sparkle.
The
brick
sparkle
road.
brick road. Okay, the glitter brick road. Yeah. Either way, we're not there yet. You guys are on a fairly main north-south road as you left this last healthy place and kind of went a couple valleys over. There is this valley that you're looking down into. It's dark, but you can see and smell and hear because the bugs are out, the frogs are out, the I was going to say the newts are out, but I don't think newts make noise. You hear, bears and lynx and all kinds of critters. It's a very animal soundy place. It's forest, right? It's forest primeval.
Which is like the first time we've experienced that.
Yes. Yeah, this is not
Like,
overgrown. This
even
was
the cows
natural
were new
and
to
then
us.
it's been left alone. It's like a park. Like it's just you can feel the life in there.
Find a bench.
But there's, as you pause, yeah, as you pause on the side of the road, you see there's a side road that turns off and heads in that direction, and someone has piled a huge pile of dirt intentionally across that road. They've also bunged up the culvert so that you can see the little stream comes down the road you're on, hits that, and then just heads down into this valley. And you can hear running water, and a lot of the insect and frog sound sort of swampish in nature. But the road is absolutely blocked.
Which of course makes us all curious.
I'm inspired by around here. They used to have the Forest Service roads, where the forest guys used to go out and do their
First thing that
surveys.
popped into my head was
But exactly, but the once they stopped using them, they blocked them all off just with huge piles of dirt.
Or literal logs.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Floppy goblins. Yeah. So, it's certainly you could probably wiggle the car around it in the ditch, but it would be a challenge.
At any rate, it's the middle of the night. We should probably consider figuring something out in the morning when we can see.
How solid is this car? I mean, if one of those bears comes, is this safe? Do we have any food in here that they might go for?
All the stuff we took with us.
Yeah.
and it's an open
Rations
top
and stuff.
wireframe car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It's
looks like
sturdy,
it could.
but it's not something that can be.
It's not something that would prevent a bear from getting us.
No.
Hmm. But
Maybe we should pull back a little ways.
might be a good idea.
It's a weird
18-point turn.
yeah, when you do because it doesn't go backwards very far because it's spring wound, and we've decided it doesn't have a transmission, so you can only back up a little bit and then it screws up the spring. So
We need sort of a thing that would go down in the middle and lift it up and then rotate it and set it back down.
I remember
Go,
seeing a
go,
car like that.
gadget, bouncy legs.
I think the gadget van could do that.
Stefano, who's in the back writing madly, sort of without even looking, just reaches over and draws a line down the piece of paper that he's working on and the other side of it. And you see Verite reach over and look at and start writing on the other side. He's doing math to make the link for the thing. He's learned how to do math from Stefano. He doesn't just count his inspiration completely on his own anymore. So, but they're working on that. As you back away, it's like the sound is noticeable. It's like having broken headphones. If you stand facing down the road, this ear works. You can hear all the bugs and the critters, and this ear is just, relatively speaking, just nothing.
That's the side with the deaf side is the one with the boarded up or dirted pile.
No, that's the valley where all the sound is coming from. The other side of the road, the place that isn't in this valley, even just where you've come from, is compared to this all but silent. Fecund. There's the word I was looking for. It is a fecund valley.
Sounds not like what it actually means.
Yeah.
I think Sid would probably.
It has been fruitful and multiplied. That's exactly what it means.
Bible jokes. Sorry. I got distracted there. I think Sid would, he'd probably go to probably the crest of the hill.
Yep.
So that they have the most obvious lines of sight. A bear isn't likely to come trundling up that way if there's already food and stuff where he's at. Not that I really know that.
Nope. But anyway, I get
Sid
get to sort of a place where it seems unlikely a bear would roam. That's a fair and reasonable thing to do. Whether it works or not, we'll see. But as it turns out, you sit on top of a hill. That's the important part for me, because that's what I wanted to see. So you get back up to that hill you were on at the start, because you go to a safe place, right? And you look back down into the valley about sort of half an hour, 45 minutes after the roar. The campfires start coming back on, but they start coming back on from closer to where you are at the bottom of the valley, and only slowly work their way back up towards the source of the noise at the top of the valley. But they're getting relit, but it's at least half an hour.
Definitely had time to scatter and come back.
And so that's in the opposite order that they went out?
Yes. Yep.
So the most recent off was the first one back on.
Yep. So yes, the closer they are to the source of the noise, the more frightened they seem to be.
Does it seem to have any kind of effect on us? Other than it's loud and screechy?
It's... You can... I would go so far as to say that you can tell it's machinery, but it sounds like a... if somebody said, what does a dragon sound like? This, sure. Yeah. Nobody knows. So it's a hideous sound. Watched a show not that long ago about the Roman standards that had the dragon heads on them and the howly things. It's in a time when there is no such thing as amplification. Loud noises are extra terrifying, right? Other than
Aztec death whistles.
Yeah, other than nature, nothing makes a noise this big, right? Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. It's one of those, and Godzilla Shriek is a great example or a great description of it, because As Stefano has said, it's constructed. It's a series of devices making a noise at the same time, like a chord of scream.
Yeah. Literally how they constructed the T-Rex scream from Jurassic Park.
Yep. So, you guys are just take turns taking watch over the course of the evening?
I think Sid would, when he's not watching, Sid has difficulty sleeping.
Sure.
Not because he's scared or anything. It's more of the sound is keeping him up. Like, like a thought that won't go away when you're trying to sleep.
Yeah, every time you're about to fade out, you hear like some sort of cat yowling in the darkness and taking something out, or you hear the thunder of hooves across the road out there in the darkness, a couple 100 yards out where you can't see. Just a herd of something ran across the road. Nature, just naturing all over the place in the darkness around you.
None of it's familiar.
And yeah, I was going to say, even if you're comfortable in nature, it can be really, really just terrifying at night. And I would go so far as to say none of you are comfortable in nature. Allegra, possibly an exception to that, more so than others anyway, the other ones.
Yeah.
Well,
Allegra's the only one that sleeps.
Yeah.
I start, I listen to it and all. Although I did have that king.
Yes, you did. We were going to get to that. So how does that work as you're settling in for the evening?
So I think this just sounds wrong, because as I settle in for the evening, I do my usual tuning.
Yeah.
Where I'm where I'm sort of syncing with it, and it's too discordant. I try, I'll harmonize with this. I'll sort of, get into phase with this, but that doesn't fit, and I'll try and get in with that, and then this doesn't fit, and it's just really discordant, and I'm just...
The only common theme is fear. Everything here is afraid.
And I've never been a place that I couldn't sync to at all. Yep. So, yeah. Allegra is the only one who sleeps less than Sid.
Yeah. Felicity? Somebody's got to get a good night's sleep. Is it you or is it just Artemis?
I think Verite would for sure. He's just one of those people.
Verite always sleeps. He's just, time to sleep. He's just...
On-off switch.
7 hours and 49 minutes later. Okay. I have a stump to make. Just uninterrupted. Yep.
He stops mid-thought and completes it when he wakes up.
Yep.
So are we taking watches, like shifts?
Yes, but don't worry about it. Nothing's going to happen. Just tell me how Felicity gets through the night.
I think it's very strange for Felicity because she did not grow up with all of that background noise. Mm-hmm. And so like the crickets, the nonstop crickets, and the clockwork every 5 minutes owl hooting and all of that. It's just like every time she's close to getting to sleep, like some creature will like screech and she'll like fuck.
Yep. You don't have to be magical to see that this is discordant, right? Yeah, everything about this place is just.
I think it takes her a while to fall asleep, and it's not a deep sleep.
No. So much tossings and turnings. In the back seat, except for, as we pointed out, Verite's crashed in the back, in the bumper seat at the back, because it is time to sleep, and therefore he is sleeping. Stefano
jealous
looks like an elf, like the image in my head of an elf doing their 4-hour trance. He's just sort of sitting there staring off into space, but one hand is still doing math on that piece of paper.
Oh my god!
So some little tiny part of him is still braining this. But that's the back seat. Just in front of that, Artemis is groaning in existential and physical angst and agony. still suffering from their king. This is method acting in the extreme. Yeah. Angstoni, yes.
That was
tried.
horrible to say.
Yeah.
But my mouth didn't like saying
It sounds
that.
like a medieval disease.
It does. Ugh.
Oh, it's got angst. Yeah. Leeches, get the leeches.
It's like the worst version of melancholy.
Okay. Let's do the thing. Sunrise. Sunrise over a forest. Because it is to the east of you. Like,
And now we have all the birds.
The birds. Precisely.
The
Yeah.
end.
And a giant foot. Yeah. But the sun comes up into this valley, and the valley is just full of fog and mist. And as that starts to burn off, you can see it really is swampy in the bottom. It's boggy. There's no control of the waterways. It's turned into one of those meandering streams that's got 100 meanders. So the whole bottom of the valley is like that. You see herds, flocks of red deer out on this open area. But they're all doing the deer thing, right? Like 1 chew, 12 looks, 1 chew, 12 looks. But you can actually see this valley now, and it is just, it's like somebody poured water and growing chemicals on Eden. You know, it's just stunning. Here and there you can see little wisps of smoke where the fire have gone out because they let them go out at dawn. What do you do?
Sid looks to the others. Do we risk trying to go to one of these encampments? Meet up with the locals, as they say.
Might as well. We need to go through anyway, don't we? We're headed. I mean, the road just doesn't go anywhere else, so.
That's true.
Actually,
And this thing does not.
that's not actually the case. You can bypass this entirely.
Oh, we could.
Yeah, this is a side valley. The only reason, yeah, you had a dream about it, but other than that,
I don't like the idea of whatever's going on in here, but I also don't like the idea of letting it continue.
That was my thought as well.
GM's magic trick: grab him by the ethics.
Whatever.
No wonder none of us can keep a hold of Scarred. His characters don't have any.
No ethics. Yeah.
I mean, what?
No.
He's not watching.
Hell, we're hardly watching. I just looked at the numbers.
Oh,
So who's driving? Or are you? Oh,
it's
sorry.
gotta be one of
I
those
interrupt.
two. It's gotta be one of those two.
Yeah.
Sid's driving.
Okay.
No, Delilah was driving.
You guys you shared the downhill. I remember that. The scary
Yeah.
bit. You guys actually shared the tiller because it's right in the middle. So I imagine you.
Okay.
There's the moment where you both reach for the tiller and kind of bump hands in the morning. Yeah.
I mean, I don't like the idea of, I don't like the idea of someone deliberately being discordant and deliberately trying to keep people under. But on the other hand, I don't really know. I mean, I suppose we shouldn't just meddle without getting to know the lay of the land, the situation. Maybe we should go ask.
How about this? We find the nearest people, ask them what's going on, and if we don't like what we hear, maybe we can try to help. We do need Artemis's gun, probably, though.
Literally seem like this, literally like a multicolored cocoon, and then just occasionally just a
Yep,
gun.
yep.
Yeah, so I guess Sid sort of drives down the road a little bit, trying to find a decent place to off-road.
Yep. Yeah, the best place. I mean, it's so overgrown. The only real place is try to get around this pile of dirt in the ditch.
Oh, so the dirt is the path down into the valley?
Yeah. So the main highway
Okay.
goes along here, and then there's this side road that goes down, and it's blocked
We
off.
might have to hoof
Yeah,
it.
Okay.
Let's see how Sid does on a what would we call driving? Physical or mental, or what would we call that? I don't have my cheat sheet. Shit.
Oh,
Maybe athletics, because keeping a hold of that steering wheel is going to be.
Plus, you have to lean to turn, right? The thing
Yeah,
is only
that's
forward and
true.
back. So
athletics.
Keep forgetting it's a fucking tiller.
yeah, and it's
You made a boat car.
oh, it's worse than that. It's a leany boat car. It's a motorcycle basically. You have to lean to turn it.
8 is a success.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually. Nah, I'll just do 2 successes.
2. Okay, so yeah,
Could've
easy.
done 3.
You around this pile of dirt and get onto the road moving down. It's slippery and old, and it's a dirt road, so it's got the row of grass growing down the middle of it.
And this isn't exactly an off-road vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. With the thin tires, it's a bit like driving in PEI, right? It's slippy. It's just all the way down. You slide down to the bottom of the hill, trying not to think about how the hell you're going to get back up here. And you find yourself relatively close as you get to the bottom of the valley that the moisture settles in. Right? It's just, it's so muggy and warm and thick down here. But you do see fairly nearby one of these trails of smoke.
Leans in that direction while kind of keeping an eye out. You know, he's not going fast. You know,
Yeah.
Torque's important when you need to, but yeah, he's just sort of
Vehicle needs some shocks.
snow running his way through. Because literally one of the levels from Michigan popped right into my head as we did this.
Yeah.
As you said this.
Oh yeah, getting around stuff like this is This isn't.
We're living it right now.
It wasn't an outrageous drive. This is like teenagers getting to a bush party kind of difficult. This isn't climbing those vertical hills in the 7,000 horsepower hot rod dune buggy things. It's not that, right? Yet. But yeah, you kind of skid down the hill, reminiscent of the high-speed slide down the hill that Coes did. But you get to the bottom, and you can see relatively close this encampment. You're close enough to see that there's nobody visible. It is literally just a ring of rocks and a couple of logs, rotten logs. They're not even cut. They're just rotten deadfall around them in a like a sort of triangle shape. The fire's out. Nobody's here.
Well, they've either gone hunting or they heard us coming and they scattered because they've never seen a car before.
I mean, I'd probably run if I'd never seen a car before.
Fair.
Rock hurtles out of the forest not far away. Falls a little bit short and sort of dunk, 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 dunk in front of you.
Sid.
I think we know what they did.
Well, Sid quickly takes off his tank top and puts it on his hammer like a flag and just sort of starts waving it. We're not trying to hurt you. Just want to talk.
And a legend.
I have never seen an image that sounded more like the cover of a pride parade than Sid taking off his shirt and waving it back and forth over his head on the end of his hammer. Oh, the
Like a
symbolism is
communist pride parade.
Oh yeah. Ah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Allegra pushes open her door and
Yeah.
pulls out her crutches and is going to start working her way get out of the car.
Yeah.
Felicity
Felicity?
has her am I muted?
Nope.
No, you're good.
Felicity has I'm in muting and unmuting and I can't remember. Has her scalpel handy. Not like in her hand, but in a easily reachable place. And is going to get out of the car and approach the encampment slowly.
Okay.
Or cautiously, rather.
Okay.
Allegra is moving her skirts out to get in and maneuver herself out of the car with her crutches, and she starts making her way over to sit down on one of the logs around the fire.
Okay. Another rock. Thunk, thunk, thunk lands short and rolls towards you. Then an arrow flies out of the trees over above you and lands behind you in the dirt. Somebody over there really doesn't want you here.
Can I follow the direction the arrow came from?
Yep. Look in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You see, it takes a while to see them. It's almost like they're camouflaged, and then you realize it's not camouflage, it's just accumulated filth. They're covered in mud and bits of shrubbery, and the only thing you really see is their faces, and just sort of staring out at you. They're holding spears. They've got bow and arrow. They're not in like loincloths like you saw in the dream, but their clothes are the tatters of tatters. Like none of the shirts have got any sleeves left. They're just, the pants look like they turned into the Hulk and back again, and the magic pants, they'll only tear from the knees down. Happened? Yeah, nobody's got shoes on. There is zero tech visible. They are terrified and enraged. You can see them sort of arguing with each other.
Stefano,
Hello?
keep Verite out of sight.
Verite looks up from the back. What? Oh. And he's made a little, he's been up, it's almost breakfast. He's made a little mini sort of model of the car with this thing underneath it, and he's sitting in the back seat working out the details. He's made a prototype. He's learning from Stefano.
Felicity is going to like I did, wave and say, hello? Do you speak?
The answer you get is just a shriek, just ah, and another rock. And Felicity, this one's not going to land short. Somebody has hurled a rock that size. They're done with the warning shots across the bow. This one is Felicity bound at speed. What are you going to do?
Step aside.
Okay. Give me a physical thing, just because somebody hurled a rock at you, so we gotta do it.
Not dexterity. It would be athletics or combat, right? Because it's physical.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say athletics. Yeah. You only need one. I'm just gonna say that. Like it's it's not extremely difficult. But somebody did throw a rock at you.
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry. I am slightly We're gonna, yes, I have one success. Yes.
Yep. You just sort of out of the way, and it comes closer than you'd like to think. Like you sort of, haha, I'm out of the, whoa, shit, that was right here. But it does go past you. But you can now, all three of you can see that's emboldened them, and they're starting to come forward to the tree line. But it's like spears coming back, bows being drawn.
Sid's getting out of the car at this point now that one's tried to attack Felicity.
Uh-huh.
And he's got the Grimlock Silverhammer on him.
Yep.
And he goes to a tree.
Yep.
And he strikes it.
Yeah.
Knowing that the impact hammer will easily knock it over.
Oh, yeah.
/ blow a hole in it.
Exactly. Like you take, sort of 15 centimeters out of this tree, just, and then the top falls and collapses. They, like startled deer that you saw earlier, earlier this morning, they just, and they're gone into the forest.
Bloody hell. Felicity, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I don't think these people are literate. Or articulate in general.
Yeah.
Very Felicity response. Her priorities.
Yeah.
Well, if we're trying to make contact and figure out what's going on here,
Mhm.
we need someone who can talk.
Yeah.
Food.
Peace talks
Let's
don't
make
work if they
food.
can't talk.
Let's make food. Do I see any cooking implements around the fire?
Lots
Or
of
fire
cooking
making.
implements, no food. It looks like they're suffering from borderline starvation.
I think I can get something going here if you bring out some of our stores.
All right.
And
Do they look
I-
like they're absolutely gone though? Like
Oh, yeah.
they fucking vamoosed.
Yeah, you can keep looking in that direction, and yeah, you don't even see. They didn't even leave one behind.
Tree
Like I
falls in the
don't think they're
forest.
coming back.
Yeah.
so anything as fragrant as we can get, if we have any sort
Okay.
of herbs or anything to put in it.
Oh yeah. You
Um,
absolutely do.
And I assume I find essentially flint and steel for lighting fires.
Yeah.
We've got Flint
Yeah.
with us, so
Yeah. There's the
Well,
there's the
I
remains
don't know
of
how to use this, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like I'm sitting here trying to relight the fire, and I am very
Yep.
inept at it.
give me a
there's
moment.
firewood there. There's kindling the whole bit. They are good at fire.
It's got a fucking fire torch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
I'm inept. I've got
Fire
I've got
hammer.
a good
Yeah.
thing, but I'm accustomed to things like sulfur matches. So
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So it takes you a couple minutes, but you get a fire going, you get some water starting to boil, and start to make a thing that is first and foremost fragrant, second nourishing, right? Like you're trying to draw them back with smell, like a feral dog. Ooh, food. Ooh, ooh, ooh. But you start that. Felicity, you're just watching. You're sort of on guard.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean against a tree that's slightly farther from the camp
Yep.
and just keep my eyes open,
And
my eyes peeled.
Sid's gonna do what he can with the forge hammer to make firewood out of the tree he just.
Oh yeah, there was
Obliterated?
already firewood there. They
Well, it's
Yeah.
more of a
it's
make
consumable.
use
It's
of it.
good to have.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's
right,
good to-
there's
it's
an
good to have
extra
Don't
more
want
supply.
to
firewood
waste
than
a
less.
tree.
Okay, yeah.
It's good to have more firewood
Um,
than less, and if it's gonna sit in the bog, it's going to be useless.
Fair enough. Yeah. So all three of you notice that there's, other than the cooking utensils that were left behind in the sudden flee, there's almost nothing here. Like there's 2 blankets. Okay, and they're not even blankets. They're animal hides that are roughly cured. But you look around, and this is a place of plenty. I mean, there's fruit right there, hanging from trees. There's actually, it's kind of fallow because we did say this is fall, so yeah, the fruit's in full bloom. But there's a little garden patch where there was vegetables that have been recently taken. those things don't make sense on a couple levels because the fire says we move from place to place, right? But yet they're farming and gathering fruit apparently, but they're starving.
That's feudal
Right.
system?
Even more than that. So, and Coas is like, or not Coas. Sid is trying to like think way back. Big scary monster. What do you do to try to appease it and keep it from eating you and your friends?
Give food.
Sacrifice. So,
I knew it's a dragon, and then she like smirks at Stefano.
Stefano kind of jerks at the mention of his name, looks up at you, and it's like the first time he's used words in about 18 hours. He's been just in his math, like just doing the thing. He looks up at you. One of them's copper, one of them's silver, and one of them's made out of wood.
One of what?
The horns that they're using to make that noise. The wood one's steam driven, the other two are just air pressure.
Say that again?
There's a silver one, like think of them like trumpets of different lengths. And there's a silver one, and then there's a copper one, and then there's a wooden one.
And which one has pressure?
The wooden one is
Steam?
powered by steam. It's got like a bassoon. That's what like a reed in it. And they're blowing steam over that through in a wooden tube. That's what's giving it that resonant bass note. The other two is
So-
just compressed air.
whoever's doing it is smart enough to, at the very least, know how to use steam pressure. He's starting to do his own math in his head.
Everyone's got a
Verite
monopoly.
Verite looks up at you and says, "It's not hard. You just boil water and make it go down a pipe." He kind of goes back to what he's doing, like it's the most obvious thing in the world. And he's got this thing in his hands now. It looks like one of those $100,000 collectible toys. You know, it's just this intricately built scale model of the car you're riding in.
Verite is
Someone-
secretly German. He over-engineers everything.
That's what he does now because Stefano taught him to make prototypes and do math. So
Are there any signs of hunting? I mean, they had spears, but are there any
Yep.
signs of like bones and leftovers? And
now
stuff
that
like
you mention it, I realize I forgot it. Yes, it's the same situation. There's signs of animals having been hunted, but there's no stocks of meat. There's no stocks of skins. There's maybe the last soup they had maybe had a little bit of meat in it. But it looks like, honestly, as you sort of throw out the water and put your water in, it looks mostly like they were almost boiling grass and roots.
I smell injustice, and I don't like it.
Mhm.
Well, so maybe we just
I guess we're
food
heading
here
up
and
the
then
valley.
continue further on. Yeah.
Okay. You get back in the car and
Well,
head out.
I'll make
Yeah.
sure the food is done and then the fire is put out so
Yeah.
that there's no fire
Yeah.
risk if while it's unattended,
Mhm.
Absolutely. And you just
um,
leave the
and leave
fragrant stew.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering where you just came from, and that was only yesterday, yeah, you guys have all kinds of fresh food. You also, strangely enough, have
Pastries,
biscuits with your own
pastries.
faces on them. So
I don't think we want to share
leave
two stuff
those, and you
because
shall be
that would
worshipped as
be-
gods, the bread gods who feed us. And the
Pet
story
fire
takes a
into the
twist.
valley.
Yeah. So
Now on, it's
Felicity's
called
gonna be the
dictators.
first
Yeah.
to
Oh,
Felicity's gonna be the first to just like initiate let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys back in the
and I'll
car.
make my awkward way back
Yeah.
up and back
Mhm.
to the back to the car and get in.
And you keep
Okay,
making. Yeah,
Felicity's at this point where she's like, we've done this so many times, we might as well do it again.
yeah.
Because this
We seem to
world
be
is
good at it.
stupid.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to fix it.
And
Might
also
as well just
Felicity just yeah, exactly. Somebody's got to fix it. We're seemingly like the only ones out here trying to do anything.
Everybody else is still in
And
At
survival
least this
mode.
direction.
Yeah. You guys,
Hopefully
I
there are
mean,
others going other directions.
I'm very glad that you feel that in the game, because that's very much the impression I'm trying to give. Like, everybody else is still in survival mode. It's been 3 decades. It's somebody has to say, okay, we start rebuilding now. We got to, like, it's like coming out of that depression, right? Coming out of that that week that you couldn't do anything. This is that moment. Somebody has to step up, and it's you guys. So yeah, I'm glad you feel that, because that's the goal I was going for. But these folks are beat. And as you make your way up this valley, you see just more of the same. But first, I got to do this. As you head up the valley from this camp, you get maybe 500 meters. What is that? Like 500 yards? It's close enough. You get about 500 yards up the
1,500
road.
feet-ish.
Yeah, and there's these little wooden, almost like idols, little sticks driven in on each side of this road, and they've got faces on this side and faces on that side, and the faces are different. And there's
Like
when you
every
look,
face is different.
no, the two on this side are the same, and the two on that side are the same, but these
Okay.
side, this one and this one are very different. And there's
Sid's
a
gonna, like,
literal
take
line
one.
drawn across the road.
Yeah.
What else is different on the two sides?
Absolutely nothing.
It's just the same face on both
Oh no,
sides.
no, oh no! It's so it's you just think of like an untreated wooden post, say,
Mhm.
sort of. They're only about this tall, so that much of it is untreated, and then at the top on one side, there's a very hook-nosed face of, with somebody with a tricorn hat on, and on the other side, there's a face of a very dour-looking person who looks like Jeff Dunham's puppet, miserable
Oh.
old man puppet.
Oh,
Walter.
Walter, yeah.
so the tricorns are facing inward,
They're
and the
facing towards
Walters are
you.
facing outward.
It's a line across the road.
Yeah, there's a
So,
line across
yeah.
the road. The two facing, yeah. Then there's the sides facing you, are the first one, and the sides facing away.
The faces that were approaching, facing us.
Yeah.
Is there anything about them reminiscent of the people we just left? What little we saw of them?
It's very stylized, but yes. Now that you look at it, it's you asked the question, so you get the answer. The ones on this side are quite, now that you think about it, big nosed and all. They're obviously about enhancing certain parts of the face. These are about, look how handsome this is, right? These are, wow, the other side, the grumpy people, it's carved by the same people. So it's somebody put two sticks in
So
the
it's like
ground that went,
We're
this
the
is
village
us,
behind us,
and this is those
we're
ugly buggers.
wonderful,
Yeah,
and we are wonderful. They are grumpy.
absolutely.
Okay.
But this is above and beyond anything else. This is a border, clear as day, literally a line drawn in the sand.
So this is the edge of their territory.
I don't
Yeah.
like it.
Well, especially if they're, yeah. Well, let's see what the next village is like.
And you start rolling forward again.
Sid's gonna take
yep.
one of the posts, pull it out, flip it around, and put it back in.
You'll be
Just
arrested.
Just
You'll be
one.
arrested.
Stop right there, criminal scum.
Another religion starts. And yea, the post did
Worship
turn, and did
Janus.
we see, huzzah, the light. But yeah, for it reflected off the giant foreheads we had carved. Anyway, you turn the stick and keep driving. It's only another 500 meters. Like, these are just little tribal dots along this road is what it looks like this is. Another fire, this one clearly out. They've had time to react. There's There's no one here at this site, but there is a flint knife laid very, very obviously on one of the logs that they were clearly sitting on.
I pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
Sid's gonna watch the tree line.
Okay. I'm gonna examine it.
Yeah. It's I give you the benefit of because I love all this information. I'm going to pretend for a second that you're Phil Harding. This has never been used. This is a ceremonial knife. The handle, it's a stag bone antler handle, and those very, very quickly show wear. The brown outer area kind of wears down, and it gets this patina to it. It's really stunning, but it takes a while. This doesn't have that. This is like not this morning because it's really nicely worked, but this is a knife that was made and then is preserved for some ritual purpose. This did not cut the Sunday lunch.
I'm gonna keep it.
Okay.
We should replace it with something. We should put something else down for them. These people have nothing. We don't want to just steal, but a trade.
I'm not
Might be a forced
stealing.
trade.
I'm giving us a leg up if we need to barter.
Their own stolen goods.
We should leave something for them.
Sorry to sound cynical, but they threw a rock at me and tried to shoot at us.
The people in the other village did. This camp didn't.
Yep. This is
this
is a different tribe. Yeah.
Look, what I'm saying is that this gives us leverage. If this new tribe tries to attack us, we have something they love.
Ooh, so you're holding it hostage.
We'll only hold it hostage if they hold us hostage.
I still think we should trade for something. And I'll turn
Fine.
To
Put
the
your
back and
stew there or something.
I'll turn to the back to the guys. So what do we have to trade for a very nice ceremonial knife?
There's kind of a smirk from Stefano. How about one that won't break when you drop it? He just reaches into his pocket and pulls out like a multi-tool. You know, with the screwdrivers and the pliers and everything else.
You better open it out so that there's at least one, so it sort of demonstrates what it is, just in case. But
good.
No, I like that.
Good idea. And he does this sort of almost like a butterfly knife thing, and it's open. And he just kind of hands it to you like that was the most natural thing in the world. All the tools are out in an arc.
Stefano a greaser in a past life?
Stefano's got a history. You saw part of it when you guys were in, I forget what I called it, Lemville? Yeah, Americaville. Yeah. The one before that, yeah. The fair town.
Fair.
Yeah.
Allegra will take
he went a little feral.
And continue and hand it towards...
Yeah.
Allegra will take it and then hand it forward to
cool.
Felicity.
Side note, I have sold the largest Swiss Army knife commercially available. It's about that long. It's everything they've ever made in one knife. It's totally useless.
Swiss
it comes
Army
in a collectible
machete.
It comes with its collectible box.
Wide.
It's that wide, yeah. No blade. It's every blade they've ever made.
It's still only 3 and 2.5
No, I
inches
get it.
long.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
They were numbered collectibles,
it's a Swiss Army club.
Yeah, they were numbered collectibles, and I actually sold one. Very few of them sold, but I sold one of them. Anyway, never
mind. So Felicity will sigh and put the multi-tool on the log.
Yeah. And drive away.
Drive through.
Yeah.
Continue. We didn't see them at all, did we? I have no idea where
they never did show
this
up.
Particular.
No, but I'm going to do one of those cutaway scenes where after you guys drive away, You see one of the brave young ones
2001
sort of,
Space Odyssey moment.
essentially, yeah, he comes, he's like, that's funny you said that, because in my head he's a filthy dirty human being, but he's coming out in that sort of sideways shuffle, almost like the Zabumafu. What the hell was he?
That was a lemur.
A lemur, yeah. They were
Lemur.
that kind of weird arm walking thing, yeah. Almost that. But yeah, he comes out and starts looking at it, and the others sort of come around, and yeah, there's the cult of Liat Herman, his Leathermans. So yeah. The cult of Liat Herman begins in this valley.
That's the monolith theme.
Yeah.
Starts playing.
Next thing you know, they'll be tying knots and pieces of straw,
Giving each other badges for it.
But that moment is behind you. Another it happens about every 500 meters. There's one of these in some form or another. This particular one is flowers. This next one that you get to, all the flowers are facing you. And when you get past them, all you see is the backs of all the flowers. So again, this is another distinct border. But
It's like a bunch of
everyone you get
sunflowers.
to, some of them there's stuff there, some of them there isn't, some of them there's, some of them are clearly gifts, some of them are less obvious what they are. But about
Maybe they think we're part of the dragon in our
that's the key.
vehicle, and
That's the key thing. They are leaving it hits. These are offerings. Right? This is what they do when they're frightened, is they leave offerings. You're about the third or fourth one in when you see ahead of you on the road two groups. They're separated by about 50 meters. They're filthy, but they're filthy different. Like they're clearly two different tribes. They're walking on opposite sides of the road and about 100 meters apart. But they are heading up the valley the same direction you are. And they're carrying on their shoulders bundles of skins, chunks of salted meat. But they're heading up the valley in the same direction you are. They haven't seen you yet.
I want
They
to keep
haven't
the
heard us?
distance.
You want to keep your distance? Sorry, what was that, Allegra?
Yeah.
I don't remember what I said.
Okay, no problem. Then in that case, we'll pretend you didn't say anything. Felicity, I see you thinking.
She asked if they're not going to hear us, but
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, are they not going to hear us? Right.
No, it's a spring-powered
You
car.
listen to me better than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hang back.
And they're completely fixated up the valley. They are they're on pilgrimage. I mean, we made the joke before, but they are clearly as if this was a weird Game of Thrones movie. They're bringing tribute up the valley to try and stop what they see as you guys invading them. The more you follow them, the more little groups join them, but they all do this like 100 meters apart thing. Like they're like magnets. They can't get close together.
How far does it seem that the center, the destination is from us?
At this rate, there'll be 6 or 7 groups ahead of you by the time you get there.
Like, what's the distance?
Yeah.
About 3 kilometers?
Too
2
far for
miles?
Allegra to
Yeah.
walk.
2 miles, basically.
Yeah, so that's definitely too far for Allegra to walk.
Hmm. Especially having drawn that king. Yeah.
I mean, the rest of my hand looks pretty good, but I gotta
Yeah.
overcome that kick.
Yeah. Oh, Felicity, I could see the gears just whirring. Let me know when they engage. I can see you're just dancing around thoughts. I can just see them.
So
Meanwhile,
we're kind of holding back, going very slowly.
I had presumed you were matching their pace.
yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
keeping distance.
And
keeping-
are they making further? So they had kept distance between themselves. Are they
Yep.
keeping further distance now to make room for to stay away from as far from us as they stayed from each other?
Yeah, if you start trying to push that sort of 100-meter boundary, that's when they turn and look like they've realized you're there, but it's an ignoring thing. That 100 meters allows them, it's like a privacy window. They're not there if they're more than this far away. But as soon as you guys start pushing that, it's like getting too close to somebody, then they start to react. Yes.
Don't make fun of me.
I was acknowledging what you were doing to get my attention.
No, I know. I was joking. Do I see any more of those sacrificial offering items along the path as we are driving?
Not along the path, but each little group of people, one of them has something like that. It isn't always a dagger, but there's this, you can see on each of them, each group has one person with a unique handmade object.
Sorry, I'm trying not to. I've been in a weird mood today, and I'm trying not to let that affect Felicity's actions.
It's all good.
She could be in a mood today too. I can loan you my king.
She did just go
This is Dirty 20
my
Gaming.
king
We
is
don't
still
need a
somewhere
game
in my
mechanic
drawer.
to do a thing. So yeah, what would you like? What is Felicity doing at this moment? Felicity's brand new. She's allowed to make bad
Felicity-
decisions.
Felicity is going to do something that could make her situation.
Yep.
She is going to look to Sid, who's driving, I believe.
The two of you are in the front. Yeah, I think Sid's, yeah.
Yeah. Do you trust me?
more than most.
I'm going to write that
What's the
down. That
idea?
is a really good answer to that question.
Do you trust me?
Like the stare that Sid gives her is like very analytical. Like Sid's not an empathy person, but he's trying his absolute damnedest to read your face.
Yeah.
I trust you to take enough of a risk to either make or break this situation. What are you planning?
Good driver.
Like literally 2 seats.
Just like, eh.
Yeah.
And then Delilah's going to get as more like centered as she can,
Yeah.
and just grab that tiller, that
Right
brake,
between,
and
it's between your knees like a fighter pilot stick. Yep.
and
you're in the middle
just
now.
pull it back, like letting loose the power,
Okay. Yeah.
so that she can get she wants to balance power with speed.
Yep.
To get ahead of these groups.
Oh yeah. Yep. As it starts to pick up speed, the other two of you respond at all? Or you just grab a hold?
Sid grabs a hold with one hand, puts his other hand on the hammer. He's like, "Am I going to need this?"
Hopefully
Really?
not.
And Allegra's watching very carefully and sort of trying to sync with the mood.
Okay. And in the back behind all of you, you hear, as you speed up, the wind of your passage passing over the end of all of those tubes that are back there. The putt-putt boat, the pop-pop boat that they made, that's all still back there. And the wind's blowing across the top of them, so it's all going, this is the first time you've gone really fast in a long time.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
So-
no.
We are the big
Okay.
boomers.
Stefano completely misunderstands the situation, and suddenly there's fireworks. No, that's
No, God,
no,
please no.
no. But you don't need them. You guys in a mobile metal machine that is all but silent, except for the wheels on the ground, because it's got no engine. It's just spring powered, and this accompanying woo sound come roaring up the road behind these people. They it's like there's a bow wave because they jump before you get even close. They're just peeling off into the trees. About the third group, one of them turns around and holds up this staff that he's made of like 4 deer antlers put together. And he holds, as he's backing towards the trees, he kind of holds it up towards you, almost like he's warding you off with it.
Sid pretends to recoil.
Yeah, I'm gonna wobble the trajectory to look like I'm trying to avoid it.
Okay. Yep, which perfect. Those two things together make him think it worked. He's oh, as you go past.
I'm going to be shaman for life.
But you
So my goal here
please
is to get to wherever this center place is that they're going.
Yep.
And I want to skid the car up to block the entrance.
Yep.
So that these people cannot sacrifice what they're bringing.
Yeah.
And then I want to get out and go and confront whoever the hell is exploiting these people.
Okay. I'm making notes. All right.
I like that. Yeah, so we block them off and we go up in their place.
So boom, they're fleeing into the trees. You hear grunts and groans, and as you've come to conclude, they're all but nonverbal, all but non-literate. They are reduced. They're hunter-gatherers at best, and even that there is being taken away from them. So you get on your ethical high horse and charge the light brigade up the valley.
We have a very high ethical horse.
Headlong into the guns, as anybody who actually knows the story of the light brigade knows. It didn't end well. Well, I guess it depends on which side you were on. It ended really well for the... Never mind. Back to our situation. Yeah, through just group after group, just fleeing into the trees. Some of them dropping their... donations, I almost said like it was voluntary, their offerings on the way, but you definitely get there first, and there is at the end of the valley up on a ridge. You can kind of see it as you get closer, and the closer you get the more you can see. It is the ruins sticking out of the ground about maybe that much to the highest parts are going to be that much of a Roman villa. So it's got the house, like the guardhouse and the wall around it and everything. The wall's not much there anymore, but there is a gate you could block. And from what you can see of the surroundings, that gate is a ceremonial way. So even though there's no wall to speak of, blocking that gate will still block them from entering because that's the magical entrance to the site.
The programmer didn't path off the road. We're good.
So as weird as that
we could
seems,
set the boys with their, with their
whiz bangs,
puffers.
They're sort of blocking the way, guarding the way to block it. That would probably be pretty darn effective.
Yep. As you mentioned that as a plan, Stefano's like way ahead of you, and he's pulling bits and pieces, including the pop boat tubes, out of the back of the car. And Verité's already just knitting silver. Like he's just doing his thing. Both of them are consulting the piece of paper while they do it. Yeah.
Felicity is going to literally jump out of the car because the
hero dismount.
Yeah, just like over the door, one-handed.
Yep.
onto the grass or dirt or whatever it is.
The reverse Dukes of Hazzard.
She's not messing around.
Yep. So
Um,
bam, out into the courtyard of this ruin, and it's a U-shaped villa, so you're inside the U, right? The main entry portico was right here. All there is now is 2 steps, a flat spot, and then inside you can see an intact Roman mosaic on the floor. Somebody has cleaned it off. This is as clear as day. This is the altar. You can see where they're supposed to walk up the steps, walk out onto the mosaic, and put down their offerings.
I'm gonna think about something for a second, and then she tables it. She tables it for a second. We're on top of a hill, right?
Yep.
I want to get to the highest vantage point and look for those horns.
Yeah, I got you. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So you're looking for horns. Okay.
So are you out of the car, or is the car headed that way?
I think
No, because we left the car to block
we
the way.
skidded the
Yeah,
car to a
okay.
stop, and
Yes.
Right.
she did the cop exit, 3-point landing. Da, 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 da. Yeah, Felicity's on the job. Justice Monster has arrived.
I'm going to get so Allegra's going to get out of the car, and I'm going to go up to that mosaic.
Yes. Okay.
And sit down in there.
Okay. Perfect.
And how far is this? Is this within easy sight of the tribespeople?
When they get to the hilltop, it will be. It's kind of one of those roads that goes like that, and it's sort of because the Romans like to do that. They like to reveal their villas when you come up the road. So you come over the hill and sort of ta-da, there it is. So it's that they'll be able to see it clear as day when they come up the hill.
Sid's gonna stand at, like, I guess I want to say the entrance of this sort of mosaic area. It's open, right?
Yep. So think of like a front portico, right? The 3 steps, the marble steps, and then the stumps of the pillars that used to be there.
Yeah.
There's nothing taller than sort of knee high. But then beyond that main room, the entrance room, that's the mosaic floor that's still the only thing that's still intact.
Sid is going to stand on the right edge of the arch, sort of into that room.
Yeah.
He's got the silver hammer with him, and he just sort of making it very clear. If any of these locals get ballsy enough to try, Sid's made it very clear that no one will enter.
Perfect. I'm going to unpack this in a slightly different order. Felicity, looking for the horns. You don't see them or like anything that's you're looking around and Stefano looks at you and goes, oh, like the silver one's like 12 feet long. I don't think they're. And the two of you are looking around trying to see it. At that moment, Sid, you see the first of the groups get to not the steps, but the gate to the villa, sort of the center of the back of the U here before you came in. They stop and start chanting, and they put their offerings on the ground and start making bowings and obeisances. And
outside of the village?
Outside. There's an entry ritual that they have to go through before they're allowed to enter.
And what do they seem to make of the boys standing first guard and Sid standing
they've
second
stopped
guard?
They've stopped down the road, sort of out of spear shot of the car. Speaking of which, all you can see in the car is the occasional sort of flash of light, and occasionally Stefano swears as he cuts himself while they're building something in the dark in the backseat of the car.
Construction noises.
Yeah, it's random genius noises coming out of the back of the car. Yeah. Allegra, you said you were actually sitting on the mosaic, right? And you start to
and knelt down very much.
Yeah, and you start to
crutches next to her, but kind of under her skirt, so they aren't obvious.
Yep, perfect. And you start to, be announced to you or not, you start to hum as when you start to look for the sound of this place, in my head it's kind of like there's a tone and you start searching to find it. So you're making tones of your own until so you guys can hear Allegra noises.
Me.
And because they're sort of self-conscious, unconscious to it, the two of you see it first. The center section of the mosaic, which is Athena's face and crown, starts to vibrate separately from the rest of the mosaic. This little section about a meter, about 3 feet on each side, just like it's like a tiles come loose, like a big tiles come loose on a floor. It's a door.
Do I see this?
The two of you see it before even Allegra does, because Allegra's got to feel the noise. You guys actually see this. The upshot is it's a trap door, and she sort of hit the harmonic of the door, and it's and no, I did mean Athena, goddess of wisdom, war, and courage.
In Greece.
Yes.
We're in Italy.
This is Italy.
Yep, I know that.
Yeah, I'm just like, who's this sneaky?
This cultist. The cultist who's running this place.
Allegra, I'm going to need you to stand up.
But yes, probably Minerva. Yeah.
Stand up?
Yeah, you shouldn't be where you are because it could be dangerous. B, I think we need to lift up the floor.
Yeah, Sid's listening, but he's kind of like still keeping watch. Like, do you need my help in there?
So
we might need you to lift up some tiles.
So
very well.
Allegra is going to start moving, but she's still focused on tuning. She's still focused on that. And so, focused on that and moving with that, she's going to actually get up more gracefully than she usually does.
Yep. And as you stand up in tune with this place, it took a while to find the tune in this place because it's centered on a non-sound, not a sound. The thing, the cause, the root of this whole valley's problems is an absence in the center of these ruins underneath you.
Sort of sonic dead space.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, one of those rooms with no echoes. Yeah.
Felicity is going to make her scalpel and kind of scrape around the edge of this section, this portrait of Athena, to kind of confirm that there is like a gap.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Allegra is now going to move to sort of the if that's kind of at the center, she's going to move so she's still well within the mosaic, but kind of on the far side facing back towards the barrier and the people.
Yeah.
And she's going to start intentionally, the hum's going to start raising in volume. She's going to start singing almost as if she's going towards the I don't remember what my own ability is.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. You're building up your powers. Absolutely. I love it.
Felicity will call over Sid.
Yeah. And
Felicity, your strength.
Yeah, as you go around with the knife, you find the two hinges back there, and then over here there's a switch right here, and you find if I push this tessera, that's the word I was looking for, the tessera. If I push this one, click, and you feel the lock withdraw. And now there's a little hole where you could put your finger in, one finger in, and pull this open. Essentially, you boop her nose. Yeah. Yeah, and it opens. And you pull that up, and at the start it's very heavy, and then it gets easier. So there's a counterweight involved somewhere in this door closing process. But once you get it going, it's thunk up into the 90-degree position, and you see heading down. First, there's a short ladder, and then a set of stairs.
Well, let me go
Old
first.
wooden, or no, sorry, old stone carved stairs that are worn in the middle.
Lots of steps.
They've been walked on so many times.
Allegra looks down. I'm not sure I can navigate that.
Well,
It's okay. We need someone to stay here with Artemis.
Sid heads down, you know.
Felicity follows.
Yeah.
Have any of the people gotten up enough to close enough to
was-
see? Now can they see us?
I was
Some
waiting
of
to
them
see
see
who
us,
was
some of them
going in and who wasn't. This is perfect. So yeah, Allegra, you sort of turn around to see, to assess the situation.
Well, I'm facing them. Remember?
Yeah. So you see
Me,
them. You see the
Trapdoor with
boys in the
Sid and
car.
Felicity,
Yeah.
and then the car and the boys and the people.
Perfect. So yeah, the boys are still in the car, working madly in the back seat. Stefano kind of looks up at the people. They finish their ritual and start to stand up and start to pick up their offerings again. And just before they start to move forward, out of the car comes a sound. You probably, Sid, you would definitely recognize it. Delilah, now that I think about it, definitely as well. You guys would have heard this before. And probably to a lesser extent, maybe Allegra, but this is the sound of metal, unlubricated. And in the back seat, you see Stefano, like he's just sweating all those muscles that he burnt pulling the plow back in Happyville there. He's cranking a homemade siren. It's essentially a metal tube about this big around that's got a metal blade in it that's tense, and then he's just rotating that inside, and it's acting like a siren.
It's like
No,
nails at a chalkboard.
shut up.
And you can see, like, he's doing it in his one, but it works. They drop their stuff and flee back down the hill.
Oh my god.
He's gonna have a headache for days after that.
I'm going to have a headache for days
Next,
after
I'm gonna
that.
fucking punch him.
You're stepping on his, laughing his ass off in the back of the car.
But does anything else react too? Because there's still whatever the source of the
Mhm.
real.
Yes. The door starts to close very slowly. I said there was a counterweight. Somebody somewhere inside is trying to pull the door closed by the counterweight. The two of you are right at it, so you can block it easy.
Felicity
Yeah.
is
stick a
going to
crutch in
give.
there.
Felicity is
Foot
going
in the
to
door,
give
crutch in the door, yeah.
Stefano a death glare
Her head
that
just pops up.
she
Baby
that
dragon.
she
12 minutes.
You made a mistake.
I make mistakes
Stay in
all
the
the
car.
time. You said protect Artemis. They were coming, and now they're not.
Yell at him later.
I didn't
Let him enjoy
stay in the
this.
car,
Stay in the car.
or I will find you, and I will make you very unhappy. Okay?
Veritas, oh, very
Allegra
unhappy.
starts-
No, very unhappy is bad.
Allegra starts choking
Yeah.
and turning away, trying to hide a laugh.
Stefano is, he's shit scared. As tough as he is, he's still, all of a sudden
Oh,
you
he's
just,
terrified of Felicity.
well, yeah, you threw power at him, and he's in his head. He's still unpaid intern, even though he got a promotion. It wasn't you that gave him the promotion. It was Sid, right?
No, I thought it was her.
was
Was it you? It was
was
you?
me.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Either way, he's still under
He's
you
not-
in the system.
He's not my apprentice.
So yeah, he thinks he did something.
Yeah.
He thought he was helping, but apparently he's not. So yes. Okay, I'll stay in the car.
So,
We'll make headache tea later.
and then
I know some soothing songs.
Felicity and I'm assuming Sid
Yeah.
go down into the Athena
Minty.
Tunnel.
Yep, absolutely. So as soon as you resist, as soon as you stop the door from closing, they stop. Whoever it is stops pulling on the counterweight, and the two of you are able to go down.
They're going to run and hide. Sid switches from the silver hammer to his forge hammer because it's got the
Okay.
light on it.
Mm-hmm.
I've also got the flashlight, so
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, this
the
is a
two
light
of,
I can hit people with, so.
yeah.
that's true.
The two of you
I
make
mean, I
your.
can hit people with
Yeah.
my flashlight. It's pretty hefty.
And they'll make it work
yeah.
better.
That was
Whack, whack,
there was a
whack,
reason
whack.
a lot of
Percussive maintenance.
yeah, a lot
Well,
of
it's a
people
shake
did
light.
not want to switch to
It is
the
a shake light.
yeah,
I thought
a
it
lot
was
of people didn't
crank
want to
light,
switch to the LED flashlights because it took away your excuse to have a 6-cell flashlight with you, which is exceptionally thumpy. It's really good
Well,
thumpy.
Yeah.
The one
We've
I've got
got-
is
we've got
is
one
that
of
big.
those.
It's just got its six double A's now,
Yeah,
and they still make it out of
they just make it out of
Concussion
skookum
metal.
materials. Yeah,
Yeah.
Something steel.
concussion steel.
Yep. So, the two of you start to make your way down these 3,000-year-old, 2,000-year-old stairs, 2,000-year-old stairs, these Roman stairs. You realize that this is actually a basement of the villa. Most of them didn't have them, but you can see as you climb down, you walk past the hypercourse tiles, you can see them, the two separate floors that they used to blow the hot air in to keep they actually had warmed floors.
Yeah, they had heated floors.
He
and
says,
stuff. That
sitting
was
here
great.
at minus 19 Celsius with his very cold feet, with his cold, thinking I should have wore 2 pairs of socks. But yeah. Why am I thinking about heat? Well, if I was hungry, I'd be talking about food. But
Anyway,
yes, back to this. At the bottom of this flight of stairs, it opens up into one of those open Roman arched chambers where each archway is only sort of 3 feet wide, but there's a bunch of them, like the catacombs under Paris. There's just a whole series of them, this whole chamber. So you can never really see except this way and this way, where you step forward and then you get the bishop views where you can see at 45-degree angles, but it's all sort of chess move area down here. Except sort of behind you, there's an open space. And you can see another one of these counterweighted doors, but this one's quite long. But between you and it, there's a big silver tube, like a trumpet, with a bellows on the end, and a big bronze trumpet, about half the size, with a bellows on the end. And then this contraption at the end, this curved, it almost looks like an ammonite shell, the fossils. It looks like that, but it's a single piece of wood carved into that shape. And attached to that is this complex and frankly pathetic steam drive system. It's using like leather for gaskets and it's leaking steam everywhere. It's not efficient. It's just enough to make you can see inside there's a wooden reed. You can see that it vibrates against a wooden mouthpiece when you build up a fire here.
Craftsmanship versus ingenuity. How is it?
Garbage both ways.
Okay.
It is not
So
even
it's like
on the
some-
technical
Take my
level of the toy. The toy that you put the water in and boil it, and it's got the two
Yeah.
jets on it. It's not even that level. It's just barely steam.
I take
Yeah.
my scalpel
Yeah,
and I slash all of the bellows.
easy. Yeah.
I cut the reed,
Mm-hmm.
and then I turn to Sid and go, I think I found a job for you, Hammer.
Crap. Gets his stance in.
Mm-hmm.
Gets nice and ready. It's like a golfer getting ready to hit a golf
Mhm.
ball, except he's going to hit something a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Right?
So, as I'm going to freeze you right there, just at
Yeah.
the back, the end of that backswing, because on the ground surface, Allegra, you're kind of. So they've all run away. It's just you and the boys, and you can see Stefano. He takes his thing that he just built, and you see him just sort of toss it over his shoulder, like they just literally out of the car, and it goes bang, bang, bang on the ground, and kind of rolls away. And he bends forward and starts building something else.
And since the other people have left, Allegra's going to make her way forward.
Yeah.
And kind of lean against the car a little bit.
Mhm.
She's going to say, we need a better sound, not a worse sound, right?
Yeah. Look. And he points down, he's building a keyboard.
Okay.
And Verity's wiring the back of it with little steam tubes. And they're wiring those to the pop boat tubes. They're basically
So we're making
building.
a pipe organ.
He's making a pipe organ in the back of the car. Yes, on the fly.
It can only play popcorn.
Oh no, no.
Pop
Sticks.
boat.
I have. Yeah, there's a reason why I froze you at the back of your backswing. Allegra, you see
Okay,
that?
so she's gonna stop and remind them. It's like,
Yeah.
Remember Lemville
Yeah.
with the cannons and the 1812 overture.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so think along those lines where it synced in the power of that. Yeah, okay.
Great minds thinking alike over here, Stephanos.
Yeah, the problem is fools never differ, but
You and your
well,
whole
you got
sentences.
it. You got it. You got
Yeah,
it. You got
and
it.
it goes back to fiddling with his keyboard. The next group starts to come forward and gets to the point where they have to stop and do their ritual.
So it's a start nearing.
Yeah.
So just before, so basically when Allegra first can see them, so they would first be able to see them, she moves back into the mosaic
Onto
area.
the mosaic.
Now,
Yeah.
so is the door still up?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if the door's still
I'm
up,
assuming you
she's
guys left it open for lighting purposes when you went
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume. So she will turn back to face
Yeah.
towards the car, but she'll be on this side, so she's she's somewhat obstructing the view of the door.
Okay. As you turn away, you hear steam pressure building up in whatever it is that Verite has built. And you look back and you see Stefano. And you hear
Be
him
a
turn to
starting pitch, guys.
you'd see him turn to Verite and say, 6 years. 6 years my mother made me train in piano. And the hands come down on the keyboard to the opening chords of Flight of the Valkyrie. Sid, you rear back, and at that moment, dun 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 dun. Felicity, you look like you're going to come to where Kevin lives and kill me.
Just
Bum,
get it
ba-dum.
over with.
This is a great visual. Sid just going to town with the forge hammer because you're providing the explosives, right? Dun 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 dun. Yeah.
And I'm going to start feeding into it.
Okay. Yep. What is the effect? Because they're just making noise.
So the effect that I am going to try and go for, and let me see how. We're going to go for a start off with kind of a soothing and let it ramp up to, the kind that you, when you hear it, you kind of find yourself sitting up and you find yourself sort of breathing in and taking strength.
Oh,
so
yes.
she's going to be
I love
aiming
it.
that
Yep.
at the people.
Perfect.
That this is aimed to try and affect them.
Yep.
And I have the manual here somewhere.
That's
Right.
all good because I love how this works. Because you start to do that, you add that that hum that you do that somehow gets caught up in the chords that they're playing, and it goes out and down the hill onto this group of people, and you see them stand up from their obsequious positions. You see them put down their offerings. You see them standing taller and straighter, and you see the big one. Questioning looks as they look at each other like, why are we doing this?
And about then Sid's hammer strike?
Clang, blang, splang, coming out of the hole in the ground behind you, coming out of the ground underneath you. Felicity?
Occasional swearing in English.
Yeah.
Stupid, bloody.
So, here's the thing, Felicity. Outside's dealt with. One way or another, it's dealt with. They're not a threat, which is good because they were all coming to kill you. The tootlies will never happen again. Sid has made sure that there will be no more infernal tootlings.
Regulated toodles only.
That's problem solved. You have this moment. Yep. What do you do?
No, keep going, keep going.
No, all I was going to say is you hear behind you the creak of a footstep on the ground.
I'm going to turn around and... How close is this person?
They're about sort of, I was just about to say sort of 7 or 8 meters, 20 feet-ish away from you. It's an adult woman. She's wearing robes, but they're like theater robes. This and the face, the paint on the face is theater makeup. It's like it's too much for just standing in a hallway lit like a normal person. They're trying very, very, very hard to make an impression that they are a god.
Oh, you poor thing.
And there's a twitch. Help me.
Help you how?
In
You have
between
people wrapped
smashes,
around
Sid
your
stops.
Yeah,
little
oh yeah.
finger.
but it's still not enough. What am I supposed to do with all these things? I eat with the food that they bring me, but what am I supposed to do with the rest of it?
Give it back.
But gods don't give things back.
You're not a god.
They don't know that. Well, maybe
Do
they do
now.
now, and they look over at Sid is smashed their, like, this stuff is beyond repair, right?
Sid's at the point where he's now scavenging the silver because he knows that's worth something.
Yeah. Baratail, turn it into something. Yeah.
Just hammer it down into a plate.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a god. You don't need to be anything but a human being. Leave these people alone. They're not eating because of you. You take all of their food.
But I'm
There's
hungry.
a village. There's a village down the road a ways. They have lots of food. They're very welcoming.
They'll make
If
you
you
work,
Wait,
if you
wait.
put in the work, they will feed you and house you and clothe you. Tell them Felicity sent you.
Work? That's the only word
don't
they heard
even
out of that whole
start.
speech. Yeah.
The alternative
Don't
is
even start.
the alternative is we give you over to the locals and see what they think of their false god.
Locals have spears and arrows and rocks.
So work then.
You're learning.
Oh, I don't like this.
You'll hurt for the first couple of days, but once you start
If you're
getting
lucky,
used
you
to
might
actually...
be
Sorry?
if you're lucky, you might end up making pottery.
And you never know, you might even enjoy it.
I don't know how to potter. I don't
They'll
know.
teach you. They will absolutely teach you.
They will absolutely teach you.
How am I going to get past? And she just kind of points to the wall that will lift up to let the horns blow out. Like the wall's still there, right? It's on the counterweight. But she's pointing outside. How will I get past? We'll
take you back to the entrance of the road we have to go that way anyway. The locals say that us was not my intention. But they'll stay away from us while we head back.
Outside
We'll
the
drop you
muir-
off.
Yeah, okay. Go. Sorry. Go.
We'll drop you off at the edge of the territory. It's maybe a day or two's walk to the village. We'll give you some rations and set you on your way.
I guess it was a good run. There is zero empathy. Like they're only thinking about themselves. Outside, the music changes.
I was gonna say, it's like, don't worry, the Nans will beat that out of you soon enough.
And outside, the music changes. It turns into, I mean, it's still sort of, it's weird because it's still got that sort of pipe organ sound to it, but it turns into like a reel or a jig. It's dancing music. Allegra, Stefano looks at you for a moment and says, change your pace? And there's a brief pause, and then he kicks into this, except done on the pipe organ, right? It's like an Irish drinking song done on a pipe organ out of the back of a
Very
car in the
jovial
darkness to a bunch of
steamboat.
people that can't read.
It's like when my dad used to play Disney songs on his organ.
Yep. It's that cognitive dissonance that just makes it memorable, right? And
That's nice.
between all of that, they stopped the retreat they were on, and eventually it's a little kid. It's a little boy, because I just guessed. I just picked one. It's a little boy about 6 years old that starts, that all the rest of them are sort of, and he just, because he's 6, he just starts to and do that 6-year-old dancing like nobody's watching thing. And his mother goes to grab him, and you can see the sort of the shaman looking person, right? Steps up and stops the mother, looks down at the boy, steps forward with great intent, and starts mimicking the boy's dance. And there's a moment of as it sort of spreads. And they
So,
all start.
I'm going to apply some mechanics here.
Yes. Okay, sure. We haven't done that in an hour or so.
I'm going to pull a disruptive.
Yeah.
So this brings it up to 3 cards.
Yep.
And I have a 9, 8, and 7 of
Wow.
spades.
That's 3, 4. Yeah. Okay.
So this is 5 successes.
5 successes. 6. 7, 8, and 9. That's 3.
4
plus the 3 cards.
5, 6. Yes, it
Yeah.
is 6 successes.
6
this is how
successes.
disruptive I'm making it, and I have to throw
Yeah.
away the rest of my hand.
Yep.
And so that is feeding into this, and I am adding in, so it affects everybody present.
Yep.
Is turning into the external reality, and it's going to apply energize.
Oh yeah. So.
Oh, before we take this lady up, Sid grabs, like, she's got like fancy robes and stuff on.
Yep. Yeah, she's
Sid
doing her
grabs,
best
like,
to dress like she thinks a Roman goddess would look, except they really were mostly naked, and she's not into that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
He grabs a part that's like close up to, like,
yeah,
and then just wipes all the makeup off of her face really messily. So because of
yeah,
that,
yeah.
there's this ugly, white-
almost a face there. Yeah,
Yeah.
the smeared face on her. Yeah, on the fancy robes. I love it.
He takes a moment. He's like,
As you do,
You
you
look
realize
better
it's a
like this.
wig. The wig pulls off, and there's just sort of this, it was shiny black hair, and this is sort of just scruffy, dirty blonde.
"That's better."
So as
He just did the equivalent of pulling the glasses off the nerdy girl.
yeah.
Well, I mean, she looks like, in my face, like I've,
In your face, I love that
in my
phrase.
face.
In
In
my
my
face,
mind.
it looks like this.
on my face, it looks terrible. Yeah, no. In my head, it's like I've seen theater makeup before, and I've seen stuff like for like musicals.
Yeah.
And so it's like really, really
It's
over the top.
literally lines
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
It's
squares of
Put-
color, yeah,
and put on with like
Yep.
with a
friggin'
trowel, as the
trowel,
old
yeah.
saying, yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
I have a photo for this. I'm
They're
gonna put it
amazing,
in
and
the
yeah,
thing.
if it's not seen from 30 feet away under 10,000
Yeah.
watts of light, it looks crazy.
It's like a no performer gone wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
So, yeah.
as you
Don't
find
mind
that,
me.
Felicity, do you have any other plans down here?
No, I think my point's been made.
Okay, yep. As you walk out, I'll just give you the sort of flyby as you head by what was their living quarters. You can see the area they occupied here has shrunk over time. And they tell you as you're leaving, I used to have, at one point there was 12 of them that used to live here with me, but they all just kept leaving. I'd just wake up in the morning and 2 more were gone and 2 more were gone. And eventually it was just me. And by the time you walk past the actual room that they were left in, there's heaps of rotten food that's sort of just been shoved to the sides. They were sleeping on a mattress made of straw after all of this. They can tell you it was about the food all that they wanted, and they can tell you that blah, blah, blah. This was somebody living off the fat of the land when there was no fat on the land to live off of, right? So,
Mhm.
yeah, this is a
Absolutely.
sociopath. There is no question about that. But as you lead them out, you've heard the jig and the reel, and it just keeps changing to another one and another one because they're all 2 minutes long and they all sound the same. But
Mhm.
as the two of you lead her out, Allegra, the only part of this I'm going to start with is that 100-meter limit thing just stops. They just keep coming to the music. That taboo is already
Allegra's
broken.
music.
You
Allegra's
tell me the
music is
rest.
Always an invitation.
What happens to this group of people at the bottom of the hill? You've already got rid of the bad guy. Now you got to save the victims. That's how this team works.
So after energizing and having them together, and they get boisterous enough that they suddenly find that they're dancing with people that aren't in their own tribe,
Yep.
and it's like there's that awkward moment,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of turning away, and then but they get that back into it, and they finally, you get several of that awkward, like it's kind of overpowered
Yep.
by the music, and
And then the Joey syndrome kicks in, and somebody says, "How you doing?" to somebody in the other tribe, you know.
but then the music sort of crests
Yeah.
and starts easing,
Yeah.
and it's almost like it lets you go. It's kind of like the end music of a movie or an opera, or that where it starts doing down, lets you go. You're able to walk away. It's now an accompaniment to you as you are heading back.
Yeah.
And there's a little
It's
bit of
music.
shuffling.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of shuffling around as people are sort of trying to get back to their tribes
Yes.
and all, but they don't spend as much energy with that because they're still kind of caught up in this shared experience, and so they're looking at the person closest to them with that that kind of look you do when you've just come out of a shared experience.
Yeah.
That and even strangers have a little bit of bonding with that. And so as they start moving away, it gentles, and the exit music kind of gentles as they start moving away. But then there's a little thing. It's like they've forgotten something, and someone has to start it. And I don't know whether I don't think Allegra's in a position to start, but maybe one of the boys can start. It's like, oh, here, you left this, to start handing them their thing so that people start picking up their supplies.
Thank you.
To take with them.
I don't know if you can read what I wrote down. There it is. Rock soup. That was what was going to happen next. I don't know if you've ever heard the rock soup story.
Mm-hmm.
It starts
soup,
just an empty pot and some water in it and a rock. Oh, wait, I got a carrot. Oh, wait, I got a piece of meat. They start taking their own offerings back and building this stew. And the two of you come out with the bad person, with her face literally wiped off, and her reality literally wiped off on her own robes. You still see in their face nothing but hunger, like personal hunger. So, ooh, food.
from her.
Yeah. There is zero connection with these people. There's zero guilt. There's zero
Sid doesn't let
compassion.
go of her elbow.
But I'm hungry.
You
We've all
took
done.
everything from these people. Let them have something for once.
I was going to say, and now you're going to learn what it feels like. You think this was going to be fun?
I was hoping it wouldn't suck.
The road
Life
to
is
absolution can really suck sometimes.
I don't want
Life isn't fair.
Shit.
It's just life.
And so you make
these people have suffered so much under you. And
So
you're
you-
complaining about a rumbly tummy. No, you can bloody wait. He squeezes the elbow a little bit to
Yeah. So
punctuate the sentence.
in my head, I mean, it's only lunch, right? You guys, this only took a couple of hours. But in my head, that stew is coming to a boil. The two of you are physically having to hold her. I mean, she's not, but she keeps trying. The entitlement is strong with this one. You never asked her name, and I just realized what it was after all of this. But yeah, Karen of Athena, yeah, she's still, even after all of this, only thinking of herself. You can see it in their eyes. You're the bad guys now. Message not learned.
The Nans are going to have a field day. She's going to get real familiar with what it takes to make clay.
Yep. But how I think I want to I'm going to go around actually. I'm going to go around once here and see what each one of you would like to do, and then I've got a thing I want to do to take us out. So, who wants to go first?
I think the only thing Sid really does is he kind of nudges Felicity at one point. It's like, I think now would be a good time to give it back.
She will nod and she will approach a group of the locals, stay about 10 feet away, place the ceremonial knife down on the ground, bow, and then back away.
Before I start to speak, let me finish the sentence that I'm about to start before you get mad and yell at me. He takes 2 steps forward and steps on it. That stone blade shatters underfoot. He reaches up. This is the guy you saw earlier, the one that thought he'd warded you off with his antler staff. He puts that at an angle on the ground and uses his foot. Snap, snap, snap. Breaks it into pieces and throws it on top of the knife. And one at a time, the head person from each of these villages comes forward and breaks these ritual objects in a pile in front of you.
That's not what I expected, but
I didn't think they'd quite develop that fast, but okay.
And the music is supporting them in
between Stefano and and let's face it, human nature. You told them, you know, a lot of this game has been about, God damn it, you're free. Will you just act like it? Right? That's a lot of what this game is, and you've done it again. So they start breaking the weapons. Allegra?
Well, and seeing that Allegra's song,
you
know, changes slightly. It has just undertones of hope and a spark of defiance, and it's just, you know, acknowledges and affirms their emotions as they do that.
And a flight of swallows You know those balls, like it looks like a fish flying? Like the
Murmuration.
flock of murmuration. That's the word I was looking for.
Starlings.
Yes, but it has to be swallows because that's the title of the whole season. A murmuration of swallows, because I love that word. Flies by overhead, and as it does, the one who broke the staff comes towards the three of you with 3 bowls of soup balanced in their
Question.
hands. Yeah.
Was this the ending thing that you had in mind?
Yes. Is there something else you wanted
Okay,
to do
'cause
first?
I had a thing that
Okay.
I didn't get to do.
Okay, do it.
So rewinding
Yeah.
before Delilah does a thing with the knife.
Yeah.
She goes to Stefano.
Yeah.
And takes him firmly but not abusively
Yeah.
by
The elbow
I was gonna
pinch.
say the ear, but we'll go
Oh,
with
yeah.
the collar. We'll go with the collar. Grabs him by the collar, drags him out of the car and to the side a little bit and goes, "You are an inconsiderate ass. What did you think you were doing with that horn, with that siren? We weren't trying to make them scared of us. We were trying to get them to calm the fuck down. Also, Artemis was right there. Protect Artemis. Give Artemis more of a headache. Do you think before you make these things? Do you
Thinking,
think before you do them?
thank you for making me think my thoughts, because your thoughts were better than my thoughts. Look what your thoughts did." And he points to all the people.
Maybe start thinking more. That's what I want you to do as my apprentice, okay?
Think more. Do less.
Not necessarily do less, but think more before you do it.
Artemis pokes him and says, "Think first." And then sits back and starts working on whatever he was working on before.
Think first. Think well, think hard. Think of others. Don't just think of yourself and your creativity and your brilliance, because you are that. But you have to be more than that to be great. Do you understand?
No, but I will. Until then, what's your favorite song? And will you let me go so I can play it for you? I haven't got an olive branch, is what I'm saying. Peace offering? Peace offering? And you realize he's standing on his toes, like you've only got him by the collar, but he's still standing on his toes, like you've got 2 fingers up his nose, right?
It's okay. You don't need a peace offering. I forgive you. But learn from this. And Delilah doesn't, Felicity doesn't say it out loud, but she realizes she doesn't really have a favorite song.
That's what I saw. It's like, what's your favorite song? Blue screen. Loading. Loading. It's like, wait a minute. Do I have a favorite song?
I think if she did have a favorite song, it would probably be Claire de Lune, but she doesn't know that.
Well, I was just going to say, he says, "Well, how about this then?" And the words I was going to say was, "A haunting melody comes out of the back of the car." And I think that's a fair description, even before you said Claire de Lune. There's played on a like a pipe organ sort of noises. Yeah. So this is fantasy. So it's the song. It's like maybe Felicity's never even heard it before, but it's the song.
Mm-hmm.
Stefano is a genius. He just doesn't think first, right? Ever.
Yeah. And then I think So then she goes and does the thing with the knife, and Allegra's doing her musical thing.
Yeah.
And the shaman comes over with the bowls of stew or soup or whatever,
Yeah.
and you may continue.
No problem. Thank you. Those 3 bowls of soup are handed to you, and then he goes back and gets more for the boys. And one goes under the covers in the back seat because I can't stand to see Artemis not fed. Who doesn't eat is Athena. Karen does not eat. I'm presuming you guys don't let her eat. I think that was kind of the.
I think
No.
if anything,
I can't see us going that far.
No?
I
Okay.
think anything, Sid would make her eat last.
Okay. Or just some
Yeah,
broth.
that's a
Yeah,
good one.
just broth.
Yeah,
no,
when it's-
yeah,
Just little,
little bit of
what's
bread
left
and
over.
yeah,
Whatever's
somebody's-
left over, yeah.
some crusty face bun and a bit of soup. Yeah.
I imagine the Nans gave us just like so many face
Oh,
biscuits.
it's like 12 each. Yeah, because I don't know why, but it's automatically dozens, right?
Yeah.
It should be
That's how many
10s
are in.
because I never understood why anybody did base 12 other than it's a nice multiple of 60. That whole there's a reason why 60 minutes is used as an hour because it's infinitely divisible. But never mind.
Yeah.
So those.
So yeah.
I'm not quite done yet because the soup gets handed out.
Yeah.
Once it's done, the whole time, Stefano's been playing. He's like, no, I'm good. And he's been playing this wonderfully sort of quiet background music. And he looks over at Verite and he says, you got it? And Verite, you realize, has been watching him play. He says, yeah, I got it. He says, okay. And he slides over the thing and just seamlessly takes his fingers off, and Verite starts to play perfectly. Like it's that it's the memory replay that the emotion necessarily isn't there, but the motions are perfect. The music is technically exactly what he was shown, even to the pausings and whatnot. And Stefano gets out of the back of the car and walks over to you, Felicity, and gulps deeply, bows from the waist, stands up, holds out one hand and says, may I have this dance? We can drop the curtain there and give you a week to think about it, or you can respond now. Your call.
No,
He
It's
looks
actually-
like
so
he
Felicity
looks like
actually
he's afraid he's going to
takes-
get shot in the face. Like he is terrified.
no. It actually takes Felicity several moments to respond. She kind of makes a swallow too, as if there's something in her throat, and her eyes get kind of glassy, and it's almost teary, like she's trying to hold it back because she now has this second realization where she is trying to say it, but like she doesn't. It's like she doesn't want to say it, but she looks at Stefano and looks away, and looks at Stefano and looks less away, but still kind of away, and she just goes, I don't know how to dance. And she like can't make eye contact.
He grins, the shoulders drop. He says, neither do I. Want to have a go? I watched them earlier. It's mostly just
Wiggling.
Sure, yeah.
and he holds his hand out again.
She'll take it.
He leads you over to where all the people are, and they're all having dinner and whatnot. The music is playing in the background. He takes you up to that 6-year-old that started the whole thing, and they finish their dinner and they're kind of like their lunch and they're kind of wobbly. They're getting ready for their nap. And he looks over at Verite and he says, the other one. And Verite switches like in the middle of a bar. He just and there's another song playing, right? But it's not as hyper energetic as it was before, but it's an after dinner dancing sort of song. It's a little easier. You don't have to bounce so much because your belly's full, and it's the tryptophan fight off defense. If I dance, I won't fall asleep. It's one of those. And immediately as soon as it starts, the little boy starts to just boogie, like just that shameless body movement, just does not care. And Stefano looks at him, looks at you, shrugs, and looks down at that little boy and just does exactly. So there's this grown ass man just dancing like a 6-year-old.
Felicity will copy it, but a little more restrained and a little more graceful, but still, kind of letting loose and stuff. And then she will look to Sid and to Allegra and even Verite and just kind of like gesture with her head like, come join.
I love this scene.
Sid almost doesn't. From watching Stefano and Felicity have fun, to watching the little kid, to realizing that, I think at this point some of the locals have now like decided that they're going to watch Athena.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
In my head, it's two like teenagers. They haven't like experienced the fear for as long, and they're more curious. So they're just like poking her with a stick.
See, in my head, they haven't made the connection because they're afraid of a god, and this isn't the god. This is just a person, right?
Yeah.
So,
but she looks like the god. So
it's like a Karen. Well, no, not really, because you wipe the face off.
Yeah.
She's a scraggly blonde with no sort of facial definition compared to what they're used to seeing.
That's true. But yeah, he does eventually like join in.
I was gonna get perfect, because you're kind of you're not resisting, but you're just sort of not, or Sid, you're doing the thing, aren't you? You're doing the I'm not dancing thing, where you stand like I'm not going over there and dance. I'm just gonna, but then you hear it behind you, and you turn around, and it's that shaman from earlier, and he's sort of all bent over. And you kind of, what the hell? And he mimes kicking you in the ass and then just points. And then starts to dance.
Yeah, he's like, so that's what it feels like to be Nand.
And he dances you over to the group. Allegra?
And Allegra looks down at her crutches and looks back up at Felicity and starts laughing. But then she goes and she sits and she tucks her feet under. And she leans over and dozes off.
As you're just about to doze off.
And even like a little upper body wiggle.
Oh, no, I was going to say, as you're just about to doze off, two strapping young lads come over with a blanket. And they put it on the ground, and they like get on. They're trying to get you to climb onto the blanket.
So she'll very awkwardly sort of shift herself over.
Yep. And they ever so carefully pick up 2 corners each. And they walk you over to where everybody else is, and they start wiggling the blanket.
Oh, no! No! She's going to fall off and be slightly injured because of the king earlier. I was like, no, she is exhausted after that. earlier disruption.
And the moms come over and berate the boys for being overly energetic and help you get, set back up again with your, in your comfortable place. But they tried really, really hard.
What's primitive for read the room?
The thing is, once again, the group of you have given hope. You brought hope to yet another place that didn't have any. It seems like everywhere you go, that's what you do. Maybe that's enough. We'll find out more next week. Until then, thank you so much for joining us. We will drop the curtain on the story as of now. Whew. Love it. Oh, good stuff. Thank you. Thank you all for that. All I had was sociopath. That's basically all sociopathic Karen was the whole idea that I had. And I didn't even realize I had made a Karen.
She was a full-on psychopath.
Yep.
She had no ability to empathize.
Yeah, there was no, but there's no hatred, right? It's just, but I'm hungry. Like that's no, but it's that complete lack of, that inability to see outside of your own needs, right? So yes, once again, you have faced another human failing, shall we say, and done what you can. I mean, this one's, potentially unsolvable, but if anybody can solve it, the Nans will do it. And if they don't, they'll kill her and bury her in a narrow grave where no one will find her. So it's all fixed either way. Because Nans do what needs to be done. And then make pots about it. Anyway, thank you all for playing this game. It's a load to play, and especially when you've got an idea and somebody else has a different idea, and then it all goes pear-shaped, and then you have to deal with what happened, and it's wonderful to watch. But thank you all. So thank you very much, Bison_Stonefist. Thank you, Wayward No_Knight. And thank you, Karis No_Sophia. I am Kevin No_ of Dirty 20 Gaming, and thank you all for watching. This is a weird game. We actually did some mechanics tonight, so that's cool. We actually played a game, but this is a weird game. This is a story, and thank you all for watching, because it's not like what else is out there. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you for giving us a chance to do this. Thank you for watching all together if you're on the VOD, and if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the buttons down at the below. They matter. Put in a comment. Apparently the algorithm feeds on comments, so pop that in there, and we'll see if we can share this with some more people. The whole point to sharing, though, is where you see the segue. Oh, that was a segue. The whole point to sharing, though, is until next time, please be nice to each other. It's been a long time. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.